Hey everyone, this is Jenica from J&J Property Pros, and this year we have the pleasure of being a part of EchoMeans Business User Advisory Group. We are going to be sharing tips on how to plant a hardy planter, so come and join us. So we were asked to compile a hardy storefront planter. So this can also be done around your home as well, but let's walk you through the components of it. So you're gonna need your base of planters, soil, and your plants. This is on the more economical side, so it's hardy and economical all at the same time. Who doesn't love that? We are gonna be starting with 2 planters. We need soil and the plants as the main components for these planters. We chose these plants because they are not only hardy, but easy maintenance. So we just wanted something that was simple and easy. We've got succulents, a mix of ferns for the height in the middle, and all the rest for cascading, and we have some middle texture and visual interest. So let's get to creating. So we're gonna start compiling and making these planters by first adding soil. These planters are from Amazon, and they are plastic, but they are actually hardy and are going to work just fine for what we need them for. So we're going to fill these up almost to the top. Okay. We'll push some of that down. We're going to add a little bit more. You want it just underneath the lip, because you also want height for your plants. A lot of times what will happen is there's too little soil, so then your plants don't pop. They just stay low into the planter. So again, you want to be mindful of putting in enough soil so that your plants pop out of the planter and they're not lost in the planter. Okay, and just enough so that when you're watering, the dirt isn't spewing out. Okay, now to fill up the second one. You can always do some cleanup after. We're gonna add just a little bit more to cap off the tops. Okay. Bit of a messy process, but a fun process. Okay, so now that we've got our planters set with soil, time to move on to the plants. So typically we recommend when you're designing your planters, just lay it out first. So anyway, my thought was to have the middle guys with some height. These are the ferns, the maidenhair ferns. And then I was gonna plan out where looks a little bit taller right now, but we're gonna have these as the centerpieces. This. And then you're gonna have all of your cascading items around it. And again, your idea and design may change as you're going through this, but for now, you're just kind of mapping it out just so you can visualize and see what it's going to look like. You're gonna kind of want some symmetry as well in your planter. But all right, so we're gonna map that out. If you like where it's at, then you can kind of just take everything down in its place. And again, some of this you may want to rearrange as you're going through it, but at least you have your basic gist so you can get started. Okay, so we typically start with the centerpiece first. So we're gonna just dig out. So I also like to have a bucket nearby just in case you have to take some soil out to have a place to put it as you're creating the scene in your planter. So now that we've created the planting hole for the ferns, we'll take these guys. Typically it's an easy, you just squeeze the planter and it typically just helps the plant to come out nice and easy. You'll want to just rough up the roots a little bit. Again, it's like stimulating your hair follicles, same thing for the plant. It just loosens the roots up so that they can dig deep in the planter and establish. So again, just squish and it comes out nice and easy. rough it up a little bit. Okay, so these guys are gonna be central. I want them to be too low, so I actually dug, this is a perfect example, I dug a little too deep. So sometimes you have to put some soil back so that you reach the height you want. And in this case, there were only this size available. If you just had one large fern, that would work as well. But in this case, and sometimes you just have to improvise, so you do. We're gonna put some more soil back in. This is just kind of the extras bucket. So you can kind of just pull on these a little bit out from the bottom to make sure it, oh, see, that one wasn't secure. So we just have to push that in a little bit more. Want to make sure it's grounded. No pockets, no holes. The tighter you're planting, the better, just because it keeps all the roots secure and happy. Okay. Another tip is to just take all of your tags out on the plants that you're going to be using before you plant. Just makes it a little bit easier. That way you're just prepped and ready to plant. Okay, so we're gonna now start with the succulent. So yet again, we're just popping that out. And we're gonna use the soil. Why not? Any soil you can get in there. Renew, reuse, recycle. So we're gonna break this guy apart a little bit. Now succulents, again, it's like your air plant. So they actually don't need too much soil. So it's okay if you break it apart a little bit. And they do well with a minimal size hole because they don't need too much. Okay, so we're gonna just plant that near the succulent and just kind of slowly, because it's quite, as hardy as it is, it can be delicate. So just taking your fingers in that kind of scissor formation where the root is and pushing down. Same thing on the other side. Kind of scissor hands all around to just push the roots down. Okay. We'll take the succulent on the other side. Same thing, if you want to put it over your bucket, just in case. Make it a little less messy, but we'll use some of this soil. We're gonna go on the other side. It's just in the hole there. Okay, again with the motion, scissors. You could actually go on both sides and just push down. Okay, we'll add a tag, there we go. And that guy, nice and long soil here. This one, make as a central to the side. And you also want to be mindful of the direction it's leaning. So this one actually seems like, instead of this way, it's kind of fighting it and it looks like the back side. This way it's upright. Should hopefully just cascade down. And then we're gonna flank this one with its buddies. And just manipulating this root ball helps you fit more into the planter as well to make it full. This side, and then we're gonna do one on the other side. Yet again, manipulating the soil. And no, you're not hurting the plant. It's actually perfectly fine. You're just stimulating the roots. And again, you can fit more in. Okay, we're gonna now make it symmetrical. We're gonna go on this side with this guy. And you wanna make sure all of your soil's down here. And then you're just pushing the root system down to secure it. Again, always kind of more so those scissor hands. You want to lift up, not forget to push in underneath to secure it. Okay, now we're gonna do the other side. Okay, so starting with the sky. Central on the other side, so we're going opposite. Again, pushing that in, making sure the front section has some soil. We're gonna grab a little bit to add. See how loose it is in there? You wanna make sure that there are no holes, that it's secure. Okay. I'm gonna add a little bit more soil. Okay. Adding the friends. One side. And again, you see the direction. If it was this way, it could work, but it doesn't sit as nicely as when you put it down like this on its one side. So it's just playing with the angles, playing with what works the best. And again, this is for, it's a very sunny storefront, but it has a little canopy over top, so it's somewhat shaded, but it gets the ambient light. So most of these things are sunshade. Succulents like more sun, but because of the light, they should be just fine. And again, not needing too much water. These little babies like to be fully dry before their next watering, so they're quite hardy. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add some more to these sides, just to fill in. And I think I'm actually gonna also add right here. So this is also the part of the creative process. I'm figuring I'm gonna just add a little bit more into here to fill that up. And then I'm gonna add these lovely guys. We've got to set these up in the beginning on the ends here for contrast. Get this down to size. Okay, set it back here. Okay. Again, we want to make sure it's secure. Okay, the underbelly. Okay, so we're gonna take all of this. There we go. And the other side. Again, hardy and delicate all at the same time. Okay, we take, okay, and then we just dig a little hole, and again, the tighter the better. Okay, take some of that. And the underbelly. It's almost all tucked in. Okay, so we've got that. And there you have it, everyone. Now for the first watering, you don't want it to be on too heavy of a setting. I typically pick shower or soaker, but for today we're gonna use the shower setting. So we've got it locked and loaded. This also is going to help clean off the planter. And then again, also giving the first watering. So you want it to be gentle, nothing too hard. You don't want to power wash your plants. They don't need that. They just need a delicate rain simulation. Okay, we're also just cleaning off the planter as we're doing it. Here. Great. And again, these guys don't need too much water. You typically want to wait until you start either seeing it leak or drain out of the sides. You always want to make sure you have a planter with a hole on the bottom. Just again, drainage is important. I'd say if you want to count out about a minute and a half, that should be enough for these babies. Again, nice light setting is key. And there you have the first water. And we're excited to see what you come up with. Happy planting.